Greetings, fellow legionary. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Lycan Legion. Episode 7, Weathering Winter. The first thing I'm going to do is continue trying to tame as many horses as I can, because overworld travel is going to be really important, and having horses allows us to travel much faster. And also incorporate water heaters, so that we can heat our settlement, our little municipia, with heated water through radiators rather than through direct fire, which is very fuel inefficient. So here we go. I am going to be adding, let's see, a log boiler. And for this, we are going to need a pretty decent amount of steel. So that's another thing that I need to focus on, is our steel production over here. Make sure that we have it. So we have a log boiler, which will allow us to heat water in a boiler, and then a hot water tank. And then once we have those up, I will start to add in radiators in lieu of the actual burning fires. And then the other thing that I would want to incorporate here is, let's do a granite shelf. Actually, next to the log boiler, I'm going to do a shelf, and this is just going to be for wood. Keep the wood right next to the log boiler so that it's very easy to keep that topped up. Perfect. That's how we want it. We have a Saturnalia opportunity here. And before we jump into Saturnalia, there's a few other things I wanted to do first. Scipia is going to arrest Caulfield. Caulfield here was the random joiner, and they are a Night Owl pyromaniac. And our Lycan are trying to build a city, not burn one down. So as a result, she has decided that the person that has joined that is likely to burn our colony down to the ground should be arrested and dealt with accordingly. Now once we have this constructed, let's see if the polling software is working. I don't think it is. I'm going to have to make some personal decisions about the goals if my polling software refuses to work. A nearby settlement, Brigantium, has a special trade request. They would like to purchase 45 head wraps. It's a 5-day travel away, and they are offering helmets and armor, someone named Freckles, who's 90 years old. I have no idea how they got that old, or goodwill. I'm going to turn this down. It just doesn't look like a decent opportunity, not to me. All right. Caulfield. We're going to be on maintenance only for all of these prisoners. The intent of these prisoners here, well, let's see. One is missing an arm, otherwise they would have been a good person to join. And the other doesn't really have any specific skills and is also covered in cut scars. So it's the reason why I've decided not to keep any of them. Alright, so there is a preferred shelf here for wood, which was placed there in order to maintain the fires in the greenhouse. But these are going to get phased out sooner or later. I think what actually we could do is leave this as preferred, so we have firewood here, because we do have like a stove here and some other things that require refueling, like the torches. But primarily, we're going to put the firewood over here. What is the temperature in the prison? It keeps yo-yoing up and down due to the geyser. So if they pass out from heat stroke, I'll fix it, but I'm not all that concerned. All right, another thing it looks like we are going to need to do is some quick hunting. So there's a ton of pigs over here, boar, that are going to be easy to hunt. So maybe that's what we'll start with. Although, you know what? I'm feeling micromanagey. Let's go for the rhinos, because they are meat dense and close. Do Village and Vitisum, thank you for the, and Robs, thank you for the resub. And Turtle for the cheer. Alright, so these rhinos here, they move at 5. Mentioning that only because that is faster than we can move. So we have to be very careful about engaging them because they will very quickly run us down if we aren't careful. It's funny because in ancient Rome you would have like North African rhinos. So although it seems ridiculous to have rhinos in a Roman themed series, it truly isn't. Alright, this one is definitely injured enough that we'll be able to outrun it. And down it goes. I think what I'm going to do is immediately start hunting the other rhino before it leaves the map tile, because I think it is likely trying to leave the map tile as it's too cold, but I'm not sure. Zatibs, or however you say your name, thank you for the resub too. Would it make sense to tame a few muffalo for meat and wool? Possibly. There are other critters that I would preferably get because of the milk demands that we have. So I would much prefer to have something that can be milked, like a cow or a dromedary, over a muffalo. So I am hoping to set up trade opportunities to buy critters like that as a result. Because milk and eggs is going to be important food staples in this colony. Alright, well that will be a good amount of meat, I think. Even if one of the rhino got away. Not a big deal. And this will be a decent amount of meat for some additional fine meals. So as far as the food bills go, we are no longer... we're not making like lavish meals or anything like that. And we have plenty of veg. That is really not the bottleneck. So we're just focusing on making sure that we have high quality meals for our Lycan. Alright, you are heatstroke initial. Okay, I'm not worried about that in the least. And a lot of unfertilized eggs, thanks to the duck barn. Now, the current research we're researching is sewage sludge composting, because we have so much fecal sludge. We don't want to be brought down in that way. Scipia just got her work drive off cooldown, but before she even uses it, I'm going to begin Saturnalia here. Even though the expectations are rather low. Because, you know, any excuse to party is a good excuse to party. And Drea, thank you for the resub. Cheers. Speech is over and the party begins. I like how the our slave here walked in just for the the party. Forget the speech, right? And it was fun. Well, it'll be a good little mood boost. All right. I think we're waiting on more steel. So we have 150 steel, it looks like, total. Scipia and Darius are likely to... Oh, you know what? I just realized they are not on a night schedule. Never mind. I thought they were, but I was wrong. Alright, Scipia, let's hit Darius up with a work drive. And you're refueling campfire with coal, so let's not allow that. I should go through all of the campfires and make sure that they only take firewood. Because we live in a deciduous forest. There doesn't seem to be... There's not a good reason to burn coal, as it is a non-easily renewable resource. You can make charcoal. You could make charcoal at the bloomery. It's just not an easily renewable resource. It is still technically renewable. Oh boy, they are... Can you just stop hauling weird things? That'd be excellent. Yeah, it's a little expensive to make. It takes manpower. It's a 2-to-1 ratio of wood to charcoal. We have access to 2,000 wood, so it's not really needed. Oh, a bulk goods trader. Swell. And they are arriving from the Eastern Republic. And they're arriving with a cow. And chickens. Now, we already have egg layers. One could make the argument that I would be better suited switching from ducks to chickens. So, the difference is, let's take a look. Life expectancy of a typical chicken, 6 years. Their metabolism is about 30%. And let's see. Because, you know, given that there's a mixed match pair, I could sell all the drakes and ducks and buy the chickens. So life expectancy is the same. And nutrition is the same. Food consumption, 0.28. Oh, actually, I should be comparing adult to adult. Yeah, 0.28, 0.28. Food consumption, 0.22. So, chickens consume a little bit less food than ducks. So I suppose that might be beneficial. And then, as far as eggs go, eggs per year 60. So that's like 1 a day. And eggs per year 60. Okay. There's not a significant difference. Oh, my polling just came up. Should we switch from ducks to chickens? So they're slightly more food efficient per egg. If you think it's worth it, feel free to vote yes. If you don't think it's worth it, feel free to vote no. Okay. I would like to refine steel. Oh, I see why they stopped. They stopped because I had maxed out as far as they were concerned. So they are leaving the map tile at the moment, which is a bit of a problem because my 2 werewolves are, my dire Lycan, I should say, are shapeshifted, so they wouldn't be able to catch them. So I'm glad you guys are saying no, because I simply am not going to catch Ponder in time for the trade. So let's get rid of that poll entirely. Alright, Bebo, you can turn back now. So, we have ducks. Alright. That's fine. I'm going to continue working on taming horses and setting up the water heating. And I think what I'm going to do is have you guys vote for the next major project. And I'll explain the benefits. Some of these projects that you'll see in the polls aren't necessarily ones that should be voted on, but I'm not going to put up the timer yet until I explain. So one is we could set up a permanent slave / prisoners quarters, because we don't have like a permanent spot for them. As you can see, the slaves sleeping here and the prisoners are huddled around a geothermal geyser. Another is to build a forum, which is a market. We could also build a dining hall or recreation room, which is a triclinium. We could build a craftsman district. We could build a horium, which is a stockroom. We could build guest domus, which is guest housing for visitors. We could work towards building an insula, which would be a villa or manor for senators. We can improve the defenses or viewer suggestions. I'll have you all vote on that now that I've explained it as briefly as I can. All right, looks like Darius is working on the water heat now. Awesome. We got some of these prisoners that are still heat stroke. It also might be worth the time to bring those prisoners to market and then to potentially buy things that we need, but we'll see. That heavily depends on free time and priorities. Alright, let's see if I can get, Darius to finish off the log boiler. Okay. We have hot water in the colony, so the baths that we have will be heated. The next thing I wanted to do, which is to incorporate that hot water into radiators for the individual rooms so that they're heated. So some of these radiators that I'm installing are going to be subsequently moved, but not all of them. Because we'll probably put in radiators in the horse barn and put in radiators in the duck barn, but quite likely those aren't going to be permanent installations in those facilities because those aren't like the final location for those things. I think it would be much better to have the duck barn centered around the lake, and then horses having a lot more grazing and roaming area, possibly where there is fertile soil so that we can plant natural hay so that they can graze openly. Okay. Well, so far, so good. This radiator is, misclick. This radiator is most likely going to be a temporary one. You know what? In hindsight, maybe I should be making, well, I think for the aesthetics, I'll do stone radiators, even though it, like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Because iron would, you know, stone's not a good thermal conductor. But whatever. Taking a look at the stone that I actually have, if we are, because it looks like building the triclinium is going to be the priority, making sure that we're cutting as much marble for it as possible. So let's put in some temporary radiators here. I'll put an iron one here. And an iron one here. A mad wild boar paired with a blight. Ah, yes. The blighted boar. Well, that's too bad about the hay grass. It hit us pretty badly, in fact. I'm going to lock Bebo in there to cut as much as possible. And I'm going to wake Elba up early. Oh, are you going to make it? Nope, you did not make it. I mean, I was trying to close the door, but the boar got in first. So backup is arriving. Boar is down, and door can be opened back up. Alright, the next project will be the Dining and Recreation Hall, the Triclinium. Or however you say it. My Latin is bad. Alright, I'm going to, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I am going to micromanage Bebo here to make sure that all of the plagued hay grass is cut out before allowing her to return to sleep. Okay, so the hay grass blight and the mad wild boar have been solved. So I'm getting warnings that I am low on oh no, I'm not low on iron. There's 500 of it mined up. That's just fine. Perfect. The temperature. So, green is most temperate. The kitchen and dining room is intentionally kept cold. But all the places that need to be warm are warm right now. And Doris is going to work on the radiators for the horses and the ducks. Although the ambient temperature for the horses and ducks are fine. We're also now taking warm baths. Heated baths. Which is a big change. A big significant change, I think. Opfer, thank you for the resub too. Cheers. Moods are great, yeah. They are just over the moon. That's wasn't intended to be like a bad play on words because we're wolves howling at anything or anything like that. If it was completely accidental. A meteorite of sandstone. I wonder what Roman god sent that. Maybe Vulcan? Vulcan's probably the one that flings meteors, I'd imagine. And it looks like the ambient temperature is starting to warm up, so the snow is melting. Yeah, maybe it's Jupiter. That's true. Alright, medical emergency. You got cooked. Got it. Caulfield is a little bit more temperature sensitive than the others, so I closed the steam geyser vent in hopes that the temperature in there drops so he's not cooking himself. Alright, at this point, all of the campfires have indeed been replaced with vents. Now, there is a bit of a penalty here when our slave is working in the craft room, there will be a light penalty. So I'm going to put up some torches, even though... Yeah, I'll put up some torches as a compensation for that. So I think the water heating and taming horses... Are there more horses? No. So those tasks are done. Meaning we can move on to building a triclinium. So, priority above my head has been updated. I had intended to build it here. Maybe a 17 by 17 building. That's pretty grand, I think. And I'm going to pause the game just so that I can really take my time to build something that I would consider being proud of. What fuel does the torches use? Wood and wood only. They're not set up to use coal. Alright, I would like to surround the building with granite cobbles before I continue building the building itself. So I have the layout of the actual building, but I'm mostly going to focus on the pathing. There's another task I would like to do, which is to construct some double beds to see if we can't get high quality double beds. And I'll probably have to micromanage Darius because he's going to be so busy with the other tasks I approved of. There's an excellent one. I'd say that's worth keeping. 2 excellent ones. Alright, I'll build one more. And it's good. Okay, perfect. So at least I have the 2 that I was hoping for. And I am going to uninstall the old bedrooms. And install the new ones. So this is Darius and Scipia. And this one is Elba and Bebo. Oh, we got, I think, the last stallion. Alright, Elba. Instead of relaxing socially, I'm going to have you do some hall work for me. Some random sheep join. Interesting. So these sheep, Ram and you, they grow wool, of course. What's unfortunate is they aren't milkable. As you can see, it's just wool growth. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to round them up for sale. I don't intend to keep them, but it's not a bad idea to at least use them. I mean, I have them, right? So, and to put them in the horse paddy in the meantime. Oh, reassign the toilets? Good call. Let's link the beds. So now that the the bathrooms are appropriately assigned to the respective owners. Oh, and the ewe is already pregnant, so that didn't take very long. I'll probably cut back on hunting. We have, honestly, just so many eggs that we probably don't really need to hunt for protein at this point. Now, one thing I'm curious about is... Okay, yes, the slave is going to go fetch the sheep now. Good. This tile set seems to have a mild winter. So its grow season is only 2/3 of the year. It does get down below freezing in the winter, hence the snow that we all see. So it's not rough. It's not like a boreal forest or taiga or anything like that. But yeah, it's not that bad. It's manageable, for sure. I wonder why he was grabbing their rice and not a new stack of corn. Well, we have a ram in here. I haven't gotten the warnings that the others are currently running away or anything like that. But I haven't forgotten. Obviously, they're going to need to be fetched. Now, it would potentially be possible to incorporate jade into the design of the dining room, and I think if I wanted to do that, I am going to grow some tinctoria, because we'd like to have it, you know, not garishly green. That sounds bad to me. All right. Be given a little warning that I need warm clothing. I think we'll be okay. I don't think it's going to get any colder. We're at the end of the winter, so we're heading into a warming season. It is -9 Celsius out right now, but nobody really seems to have, like, hypothermia or anything like that. What color will I dye the jade? Probably some sort of, like, lavender. If we could somewhat mimic, like, a Tyrian purple, which is the very expensive, I believe it was Phoenician, primarily, dyes that they used from snail shells in ancient Rome, which is why purple dyes were the most expensive and only the wealthiest could use it. Of course, we are going to be using plant-based knockoff dyes, but nobody needs to know those details. A prison break. Oh, are they busting through the walls? Yes, they are. A warg is trying to hunt my animal for food. Oh, yep, this ewe is going to die for sure, because no one is remotely close to it in order to ensure its survival. Alright, Darius, I'm going to need you to patch the walls while my archers do a little target practice on the rebellion. So I guess, at the end of the day, it looks like we're only going to have the rams, as the ewes been hunted by a warg. before we could rope it in. Caulfield, I believe, is a... Oh, no, you're not a jogger. I think it's just the bright lights of the sun that are slowing us down. Truth be told, if these prisoners weren't going to be converted, having them fetch a price at the market seems fine, but no market was coming, and at some point we sink more food into them than they are worth. I'm kind of surprised they haven't gone down yet, though. They really wanted to escape. And Bebo's upset by that. Well, Skunk's down. But Lurch is out. Well, the Warg may have hunted the ewe, but we can still deny it most of its food by hauling it in. The horses don't have access to food at the moment. We are starting to harvest hay grass, though. So we have a very small stockpile of hay grass, which hopefully will grow and allow us to primarily feed the animals hay grass, so that the vegetables won't get hauled between the animal paddocks and the kitchen. Because that extra hauling is really inefficient. Alright, so we still have one prisoner. The others escaped. Unfortunate, but, you know, it happens. And as far as the mood goes, it's a -7. But given how happy everyone in the colony is, it's really not that significant. Oh, some visitors. Cheetah and Fox. So I don't think we really need to do any more manual hunting. As it seems to me like the amount of eggs that we get easily supplies us with all of the protein needs that we're going to need for the near future. The Bloomery is getting close to the amount of steel that I queued up to be done. I do have access to gladiuses, and I think it wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea to, now that we're manufacturing steel, to have Elba make a gladius for Darius. Darius is running around with just like a granite club, which is really good for slave suppression. But at the end of the day, the safety and security of my own members far out is far higher a priority than to be able to capture as many people as I can. So I don't really care if prisoners or slaves die in the process. I care that our patricians are safe and alive. I'm actually going to shrink the Tinctoria zone down a little bit, so that we just grow a whole lot of hay. So the walkway around this is, let's say, almost half done. Here comes the Gladius, and I'm hoping it's high quality. Alba has a skill of 13, so there's a chance. We're having to travel pretty far for granite. I do have a nice stockpile of marble, though, for the actual structure itself. So I think what I'll do is... So, I'm just painting a bit of a grid so that I can design a pattern here. And let's see. I'm going to start laying down the stonework for it, so that Darius is spending more time constructing than he is stone cutting, because I don't necessarily need him to be our stone cutter. I'd rather have him building. It's what he's good at. Bertus's Collection of Fortune. A statue. 2 statues. I mean, it's interesting, but I'm not tempted by it. We still have about 1,000 corn. Now that the snow is thawing, there's a little bit of grazing that can be done, but really not much at all. Not nearly enough to support the amount of animals that we have. Ooh, a second thing of ambrosia. I wonder who we have to thank for that. The first thing of ambrosia didn't really sprout in the winter, so it's still pretty ungrown. And it is officially spring. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Lycan Legion, which originally streamed live on Twitch, September 9th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow legionaries.